thing she taught me about film is you have to be a producer.
Okay.
I wanted to only be a director, and it took her 3 years to break me down to be a producer. And I was like, I don't want to do the money bit. I just want to be. She said, no, Chris, then your creativity will be enslaved to others that have money.
That's a bar. Wait, your creativity will be enslaved to others that have money.
She says to me, you have to be in the room when money is being discussed. Don't let them finish the deal and come to you to use you to deliver the deal. You have to be in the room.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the StormCast. For those who are just joining us, this is a podcast where I just basically tell you what's on my mind. And these days, I have guests, which is very exciting. With me, I have Chris Ihidero. How you doing, Chris?
I'm good.
How's life?
Life is lifing. Life is lifing.
Okay, so for those of you who don't know, Chris is, and you should know, but Chris is one of the most, I think, influential writers in Nigerian film and television in general. Your experience across the space, I think, has been phenomenal and pivotal in how stories are being told.
Thank you. I have tried.
I think I'll do all right. He's all right. But I have come across Chris on 2 different occasions. The second is the one that I really remember, which is a project we just finished.
Yeah.
But you tell me, so how did we meet the first time? What was your experience of me the first time?
I think we met when you auditioned for Sugar. So this is 2017.
Yeah.
And I remember because we had an issue. Emmanuel Uduma, who was my co-producer for that season of Sugar, and I, when we had done the casting, you and Bolanle had been, the final picks. Yeah. And we had to choose one. And we couldn't decide who to choose. And for the first time, we sent the files to London to MTV Staying Alive Foundation, who were our executive producers. And we said, look, we've got these 2 amazing women for this particular character. Yeah. And we can't pick which one. I want this one for these reasons. I want that one for these reasons. Yeah. And so you guys, these are the files, these are the audition tapes.
Figure it
out, whatever choice you make. And I'm not sure we have ever spoken about this publicly. So if you're hearing this for the first time, that's how Bolanle ended up playing the role. Because I then said that if either of them did not play this particular character, I don't want to use them for any small role. I'm going to have to keep the other person for a bigger role next season. Yeah. Of course, next season never happened for us.
Yeah. So, all right. Oh, well, there you go. So, I think it's so interesting the way that we met the second time, and then I got told that there's this film that's coming up. You come down to audition. I remember looking at the general audition side, and I went there. And let me not lie to you guys. When you go to an audition, the way that they treat you at the audition, for me, says a lot about what you're going to experience when you go on set, when you're working with people. And I was treated really well. So I was like, they have snacks here. You want me with food? I promised alone. I said, wow, these are nice.
That comes from my teacher, Amaka Igwe. We used to do public auditions, right? Yeah. And she would insist that we'll do a couple of things. One, the actors must not sit under the sun, so you get tents for them to sit and wait outside if we were filled up inside. Okay. 2, you have to get cold water, and if they are going to stay more than an hour, you have to give them snacks. Yeah. So that comes from my background at Amaka Igwe Studios, and she would insist. So if Pinpoint says come for an audition, we would make provision, even in the times when we have auditioned like 1,000 people, there will be provision because they're human beings.
Everyone is human. Yeah. And I love that. So let's get straight into it. The legacy of Amaka Igwe. You trained and you worked very closely with the late icon, Amaka Igwe. You ended up being the chief operating officer of her studios.
Yes.
So I would ask you, because I know that a lot of the time you spend with her and learning with her, it has influenced the way that you are as a filmmaker today. Yes. But if you had to give us the most valuable lesson that you learned during that period, not just about being a filmmaker, but also about the business structure, that allows maybe a cultural what would be the most important thing you learn as a filmmaker and the business structure as well? And do you think those things will help cultural success become generational wealth?
Okay, I'll answer that in two parts, in three parts, if you allow me. One would be about filmmaking, the other would be about running a production business, and the third will be personal.
Okay.
All right. So let's get the film. She always said a film is sold three ways: by the actors, by the studio, right? By the actors, by the studio, by the director.
Okay.
And she always insisted that the biggest player in the room should always be the studio.
Okay.
So she would say to me, write your script, write your screenplay so good, any good actor can play the role. Okay. So you do not need a specific actor to deliver the character. So win at writing. She would say, if at the end of the day you deliver only 60% of what you have written, it should be better than everything you have ever seen around you. Because you know how production goes. You write A and set realities. Filming realities mean you are going to deliver D, E, F. But she always said that you win or lose with your script.
Okay.
And that audiences will forgive you. Will forgive you for technical issues long before they will forgive you for story issues. So get the story right. That's the biggest lesson she gave me as a writer. Yeah. So I remember when I wrote Big Daddy, my very first short film.
Yes.
This will be 2011. It was just 10 pages, and I wrote it 6 times before she agreed that the story was done.
Oh wow!
Every draft she would say, Chris, it's not done. It's not done yet. Chris, you have to look at, and then I'll go back. And I wrote it 6 times. It quickly became the most watched Nigerian short film on YouTube.
I saw that.
Yeah,
I watched it today.
It's because she always said it. You will get on set and things will happen. So until the script is so bloody good, you are not ready. Yeah. That's what about the business. I didn't want to be a producer. I wanted to be Spielberg. When she made me the offer to join Amaka Igwe Studios in 2007, I was on my way to film school in England. Oh. And she said to me, this is your film school, eh? When you finish, what do you want to do? I said, no, I want to be a director. She said, I know, but this is your film school. Do you want to stay in England or you want to come back to Nigeria? I said, no, I want to work in Nollywood. I want to change Nollywood.
Come on.
I had spent 10 years in the theater as an actor and director.
Okay.
And if you know Nigerian theater, Nigerian theater exists to correct all the ills of Nollywood. To show Nollywood how it should be done, even when many of them have never done it. All the actors don't know how to act. All the directors don't know how to do that. So I was coming, after all my Brechian and whatever things, Marxist-Leninist teachings about how to use theater to change the world and take power from the oppressors, blah, 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 blah. I was coming to film to come and do all of that.
The savior.
And then she was just saying, I have heard, but you work in Nollywood. I said, yes. She said, okay. Why don't you come? And let me teach you all that I know so you can add it to what you already know and be greater than me.
Yeah.
Those were her words to me.
That's dope.
In March 2007. 2007, yeah. And I considered it. But when you're about to go to film school, no one can talk to you. No. Because you feel that once you go to this film school and you come back like this, people will see something they have not seen directing before in their life. Once they see you like this and you start directing, they will understand what directing truly means. And I was in that.
That is such filmmaker behavior.
Yes. Once film school graduates, they think film school is how you make a film.
Yeah.
So I was of that mindset. Yeah. So I was going to go to Rain Dance in London, and then she said, why don't you come and let me teach you how we do it in Nollywood first? Because Nollywood does not work like that. And then once you now go to this your film school and then you go
refine it. Yeah.
I was like, I'll think about it. Amaka Igwe makes me an offer. I said, I'll think about it. So I go to Jamana Nikulapo, who was the editor of The Guardian on Sunday at that time, and who was my journalism mentor. I was writing for The Guardian. Pardon me. At that time. And then Jaman says to me, Chris, if Amaka Igwe makes you an offer, take it. You won't find better in Nollywood. I was like, okay. Then I went to my father. And my father is my center. My father is the reason, beyond divine grace.
Yeah.
My father is the reason I have done anything I have done. He created the background anyone else has built on.
Yeah.
So I went to my father and said, Dad, this woman that does Fuji House of Commotion and Checkmate, she said, that Amaka Igwe woman, I know her. She has made me so and so offer. What should I do? My father says, come back in 3 days' time. And I knew what that meant.
Yeah.
That meant my father was going to fast and pray for 3 days. That was my father.
Wow.
My father used to go on his knees every morning beside his bed. He had this rather large Bible, and he would pray for his children. My father came to the world to have children and take care of them. So
That's
what most people have
beautiful.
as mothers, I had
As
as
a
a father.
father.
So 3 days later, I go home and I say, okay, Dad, what do you think? He said, go and take it. She'll be good for you.
Yeah.
So I went to Mrs. Igwe,
Yeah.
and that's how our relationship started. We had met because Jamana Nikulapo and Tonya Akinsho of the Committee for Relevant Arts, CORA, had sent me
Yes.
to Abuja to go and organize the colloquium on African cinema on behalf of CORA
Okay.
at Bob TV, which Mrs. Igwe used to organize in Abuja.
Okay.
That's how we met. And I remember that I had delivered it and I was leaving, and she offered me money. She said, you are the one that German sent. Thank you, please take. And I said, no, German and Mr. Akinsho already gave me money for my hotel and everything.
Yeah.
And so she started crying. If you ever met Amaka Igwe, she was a very emotional person. We started crying. I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am. What? She was like, no, you are the only one who has refused money from me.
Wow.
Everyone who has done something for me here has insisted
Said
on being paid.
paid.
She said, would you please come back next year? I said, sure. So the next year I went. That's when I told her I was going to film school, and she said I should come and see her in Lagos.
Yeah.
And she made me that offer.
Amazing.
So the thing she taught me about film is you have to be a producer.
Okay.
I wanted to only be a director, and it took her 3 years to break me down to be a producer. And I was like, I don't want to do the money bit. I just want to be. She said, no, Chris,
You
then
need
your
to understand
creativity
it.
will be enslaved to others that have money. You have.
That's a bar. Wait, your creativity will be enslaved
Yeah.
to others that have money.
She says to me, you have to be in the room when money is being discussed. Don't let them finish the deal and come to you to use you to deliver the deal. You have to be in the room. And I didn't get it. And then she'll say to me, Chris, no. Chris, this is our business. It is creative, but the creativity only happens when there is money. Someone's money is always involved. She would insist. She'll say to me, it's a market now, Chris. You have to sell something. You have to have something to say. You have to own something. That's how she taught me producing. She always insisted. So I started producing, joining her to produce Fuji House of Commotion, which I then became substantive director of in 2010.
Yeah.
And all of that. But she would always insist. So every meeting she would go with me, and she would introduce me as, meet Chris, my colleague. I was never a student. I was always a colleague. Meet Chris, my colleague. And she gave me a book. She gave me Hollywood Be Thy Name to read, and there was another book, the most important one, a slim book about the business of Hollywood. And that's how I became a producer. And when she passed on, the first job I produced, so I went from producing Fuji House of Commotion to producing MTV Sugar.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was ready.
I really like this story. Yeah.
I was ready because she had said to me, producing is about scale.
Yeah.
The same skills you need to produce a $1,000 project are the same skills you need to produce a $10 million project. The difference is scale. Where you had one here, you would have 10 here. Where you used a small camera here, you use a big one here. Where you had 10 people on your crew here, you would have 100. It's scale. But the ideals of producing are the same. Manage your budget, spend money on things that can be delivered on screen, be fair, but be firm. It's that easy. The final thing I learned from her is personal. She would say to me, Chris, when someone you love says you hurt me, don't ask what you did. Say sorry and mean it. Say sorry and mean it. And I have practiced that till this day. If I love you, if you're my friend or you're your family, and you say, Chris, that's the way you do pay me, or you hurt me, I will say sorry. Later on, we'll talk about what exactly is it that I did. She taught me that, and that was very difficult for me to take in because I talk things through. What did I do? Okay, this is why I do.
Yes.
Yeah, but and then she always said, almost like she knew she was going to die early. She always said to me, "Make memories."
Yeah.
Chris, make memories. When my partner was going to go to India to study in 2010 or 2011, she said to me, "Go with her."
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I don't have that kind of money. She's going to school. She said, no, go with her and spend 10 days and come back. Don't worry, I'll do what needs to be done in the office. Go with her.
And why do you think the personal advice, the things that were quite personal that she taught you, how do you think that sort of stood you in good stead as through your life and as a filmmaker as well?
Oh, it's where I operate from. As a producer, you've been on set with me. I will be fair, but I'll be firm. Yeah, I'll be fair. I'll be fair in payment. I'll be fair in welfare. But I am not going to jeopardize my production to satisfy you. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to jeopardize my production to I mean, you never had diva tendencies working with me, but I'm not going. I will write you out of my story before I spend more money to satisfy you. That's why I love television. I will kill your character.
If people do anything with writer, they will write. Oh my God, they'll write you out.
I will kill your character. It's not hard for me.
Please don't be saying you kill people. Okay, but fair enough. Okay, so let's backtrack. There are a couple of things that you sort of highlighted, which I want to tease out a little bit. One, I want to go back to your foundation. So your first and second degrees on literature.
Literature.
Fantastic.
English, yeah.
And you even taught at Lagos State University.
Yes, and at the University of Ibadan. When I was a master's student at University of Ibadan, I was teaching, and then I got an offer to teach at LASU, where I had my first degree from at the School of Part-Time Studies, and I lectured for like 3 years.
So which core principles did you take from that into perhaps like Fuji House of Commotion, into the work that you do now?
I've always sort of been a teacher.
Yeah.
Right. Even in uni, I used to do tutorials. I'm one of those guys that used to do tutorials for juniors and stuff like that.
Okay.
So teaching and impacting knowledge became, and also because I lived with now Professor Tunji Aziz, who we all call TA, who was my lecturer in uni, and who I lived with from part 3. You know, and he influenced me a great deal. Himself and Rockwell Winla, who plays a role in the film.
Yes.
So that part of me, by the time I got on Fuji House has like 15 children, you know, as cast members. And that was something. And they had been doing that for like 10 years. So by the time I got there, I was an outsider as their director. So it was almost like,
who is this guy?
Like, who is this one?
Who is this guy?
Who is coming to direct us? You know, and we go teach you directing. But Misigwe would say, this is Chris, my co-director, not Chris, my directing student, because those boys were not going to be directed by a student.
No.
You know?
Who am I? The students in directing. What do you mean?
And I had great help from John Njama, who as an actor was also a director on Fuji House.
Oh, fantastic.
You know, so John also held my hand, you know, a couple of times. So directing comes naturally to me. Actually, of all the things I do, directing is probably the most
natural for you.
Yeah, for me.
You know, I can see that because again, when we spoke, and I know we had a few conversations before I agreed to take on this role. Can we even talk about the film that's coming out yet?
If we don't name names,
okay, we don't name
we
names.
can talk about
on this project that will not be named that's coming out. And I remember, I think I even said to you, I was like, you know, you have sold me, you have convinced me. Just the way that you talk and the way that your ideas are framed. And of course, I really loved the script of the film. And I remember I saw the end and I was like, ooh. You know, and that's the thing. I think the thing you said earlier about you should write a script so good that any actor could play the role. I promise you, if I wasn't a woman, it was Aluma's role. Like, you know, when you read a character and you're like,
that's a name slip. You just made. I'm sure you edit it out.
We're gonna do our best. But if I wasn't a woman, it was that lead character. I saw it and I was like, yeah, this has a humanity to it that I see, and that's really exciting. But then also I did go back to watch your short film Big Daddy, which was the most watched at the time, was watched Nigerian short film ever
on YouTube.
Yes, on YouTube. And why do you think that particular story that was looking at a very difficult truth, and earlier before we even turned on the mics, we were talking about another story that you're trying to do that's also dealing with societal issues. What does that tell us about the people and the societal currency of what we could maybe call vulnerable storytelling?
I think that as a writer, you do yourself a great disservice if you don't write your reality. I think that you can exist in the world of fantasy. You can do whatever you want to do, but there's something inside that is waiting to be told, and sometimes just about you can be the only person to tell it. Big Daddy came off because a friend had called me at 6 a.m. one morning and said she had just been raped. And she was on her way to work and had stood at the bus stop and was abducted by two guys in a bus and driven to a bush and raped. And for some strange reason, she had called me. So I drove to her house and picked her up and took her to the hospital, to my hospital, because I could talk to my doctor privately to get her treated. And after the treatment, something said to me as I was leaving to call Peju, who was a writer and a medical doctor. Her surname, fails me right now, but I had called Peju to say, this is what had happened to my friend. We had gotten treatment. And Peju said to me, take her to Luth. That there's a place in Luth called, it's the place that President Bush, what's his name? It starts with a P, I think, which is where you can screen for HIV.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay.
That take her to Luth, let them screen her for HIV, because if they abducted her, they are most likely serial rapists.
Yeah.
And therefore, she should get tested.
Yeah.
And so that, and then they can give her
whatever drug
ARVs,
she might need.
I think
Yes.
was what. So I drove her there. And then I walk into this place, this bungalow somewhere inside Luth. Pepfar is called.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, you see people sitting and waiting, and you know that you have walked into a room where there were like 50 people, and maybe 70% of them were people living with HIV. This is 2011, right? Or 2010.
Yeah.
So I took her there, and then they tested her. She was negative. They gave her some drugs and all of that. And then I got back home. And then the story sat in my tummy like a really, really big bowl of eba that became
Wouldn't
concrete.
digest, yeah.
It just wouldn't go. So I started writing it.
Okay.
I started writing. I wanted to tell that story about what I felt should happen to rapists.
Right.
And then when I wrote the first draft, of course, I wrote it from a place of emotion.
Yeah.
And that was when Amaka Igwe started working with me on the script to say, this is the story you want to tell, but this is the story you are telling. Because you are trying to tell the truth of what has happened. But film truth is different from life's truth.
Yeah.
And therefore, you've got to do this and that until I could come out with Big Daddy.
Okay.
And that sort of, and from, I am not able to write drama without writing the realities of life and the society I live in it, without it being preachy or hitting you over the head with it. But my truths will be in my stories. And that's what happened with Big Daddy.
Big Daddy.
Yeah.
No, that's pretty deep.
And I guess a lot of people connected with that reality because the unintended consequence of that film for me is that when I finished the film, and a lot of my friends who were women then sent me a message, I never told you, and then all the stories came up. And all of a sudden, I am surrounded by, say, 100 women, 89 of them who have had
some kind of sexual
assault, some kind of rape story. And I'm like, this is widespread.
Yeah.
And that's what came off from a 12-minute film. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. Storytelling really does reflect our society, and sometimes it also shows us what it could be. But now I want to go into the business of storytelling. You've been very outspoken about the need for policies that empower the industry and that don't stifle it. I know you've referenced the NBC code amendments and things like that. But what do you think is the single biggest systematic hurdle that sort of stops or prevents sort of cultural value that we're creating in a script, translating to maybe max economic value for the Nigerian filmmaker and the ecosystem?
It's a couple of things.
Okay.
One, what we always had, even in the days when our shots were wonky and our audio was what it was, what we always had were stories. By nature, Nigerians are storytellers. Our culture is based off storytelling. We still forget Christianity and Islam. We are still a myth-driven culture, right?
Yeah.
Our myths still play a very huge role in our lives as a people, right? What that says is that you are not going to connect with the people that still believe strongly in their myths and legends and traditions if you are writing at them by employing foreign epistemological tools, for instance. So if your framing is London and New York, you are not talking to someone whose understanding is local.
Okay.
Right? So the challenge we have, and I've run writing rooms. I've been running writing rooms now for about 12 years.
Okay.
I have met writers of every generation. And more, the recurring problem is the inability to connect with an audience. We are telling stories at them rather than telling stories with them. Right? And we think, so when you come from a position where you consider yourself knowledgeable enough to tell an audience what their life should be like, rather than to show an audience what their lives are and what could be, what you're doing. Okay, Amaka Igwe used to say, and I'm sure you hear Amaka Igwe a lot today. Amaka Igwe used to say to me, if you want to tell a story to a mass audience, make it like an Igbo pot of soup. Now, my mother is a Yoruba woman. Yoruba soups are very simple. Yoruba people, they can't be stressed. They didn't come to this world to they came to enjoy life.
Yeah.
So once you complicate things, you are
It's
stressing
frustrating.
them. So it's ewedu and stew.
Love it.
It's very simple. It's okra.
So good.
It's egusi. It's very simple. Igbo soups and other parts of Nigeria are a bit different. So she would say, put some dry fish, put some fresh fish, put some pomo, put some meat, put 2-3 kinds of vegetable, then put this thing, then put that thing, then put this thing, then put that other thing, so that when the soup is made, everyone can find the one they like in the soup and eat of it.
Okay.
And that's how you should tell your story.
Right.
And one of the places I have done that best was, of course, on Africa Magic's Hush, where I was head writer.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So you had the upper class people, you had people from the streets, you had this, you had that.
Yeah.
And RMD was, that was the comeback for RMD as Senugu, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the most major character became Rufy Jackson, as played by Kunle Fawole Abounds. And on Twitter, if there was a week where Abounds' character, where Rufy Jackson did not show up,
the problem.
I was in
They
soup.
were looking for
People
you.
will send me DM. Till this day, there's been no point at which I have had death threats like I did as head writer for Hush.
Oh, for real?
Oh, it was on a daily.
They were looking for you.
I still met a 55-year-old woman the other day at our mutual friend's house, and she said to me, "Oh, you are the one that killed Ariola." I'm like, seriously? It's been 10 years. Can we move on?
Let it go, ma'am.
I killed only one
Let it go,
character.
ma'am.
It's been 10
Yeah.
years. That's what Nigerians are like. They are passionate about their stories. They are passionate about their realities. So when you're writing at them and you're using the cadences of Hollywood, and you can take a lot structurally and all of that from anywhere, from the best writing. I'm not a great fan of screenwriting books. I'm a great fan of storytelling books.
Okay.
You can take from the masters and all of that. That's fine. But if you want to address a mass Nigerian audience, you better be talking to them from an understanding of how Nigerians receive stories.
Okay, so if we have writers then that are trying to do that, let's take a look at local entities, right? I know, again, you've spoken about local entities like NTA needing to invest significantly in more original content. We even saw recently that they did this announcement. And
I'm not going to take credit for it, but it did happen after I wrote about it. But I'm quite.
It's okay.
I'm quite humble. I refuse to take credit. You can continue to give it to me, but I refuse to take credit. I'm quite humble.
So imagine then that they have like hypothetically like a $10 million spend.
Yeah.
All right. How would that local investment shift the power dynamic and the kind of stories that we prioritize telling? How do you think it would ensure that storytellers are able to tell that story, as you said, from within the people and seeing what it could be like?
I delivered a speech at Africast 2025 recently. And again, my wahala with, not wahala, my thing with NTA came up. And I said that I am the child with a wound on my back, appealing to my mother to come and save me. Yoruba say, Omoti oniya kondegbueyin, that is, the child that does not have a mother cannot afford to have a wound on his back because who would wash it?
Okay.
So I am the child that is appealing to my mother, NTA, because the NTA raised me. As a child of the 80s and the 90s, I was assured 4 quality drama every
standard
week on the NTA.
Yeah.
Name it.
Okay.
My frame of reference as a filmmaker is Nigerian because of the NTA. I watched everything. I was the child that sat right in front of the table from 4 p.m. on Friday, and you have to break my head to leave before midnight on Sunday.
Yeah.
Because there was always something. The NTA raised me and raised my generation. How come my 10-year-old does not know of the existence of the NTA? How come I continue to meet writers in my industry who never saw any of those classics and therefore don't know how to address a Nigerian audience? How come they want to write Scandal for me, for a Nigerian audience? How is Olivia Pope's character going to work for a Nigerian content if you don't beat it into a Nigerian shape?
Okay.
What are we doing, and whose responsibility is it to ensure that happens? It's the NTA's responsibility.
So how does it address that responsibility? How does it face that responsibility?
That's the challenge. At what point did the NTA
lose sight,
feel that it was no longer its responsibility to the wahala started at somewhere in the late 80s, early 90s. It contributed to the birth of Nollywood. So that's the good thing that came out of it. Yeah. Because that's why when people keep saying that illiterate started Nollywood, it's such a proud display of ignorance that I want to smack people on the head to say you really can't be this daft. It shouldn't be possible. Yeah. What do you mean? The person that directed Living in Bondage was trained in the US. Chris Ihidero was a staff of the NTA. I mean, what are you saying? Yeah.
It was a lacuna.
It was because the NTA stopped producing and all the producers went and started making films. It's as easy as that. And technology changed. Okay. So there were abundant video cassettes to put stuff in. And they put film and created an industry. Yeah. That's all the story. It doesn't need to be bigger than that. Okay. Right? But there was a willing and waiting audience. And the early guys for Nollywood satisfied that audience and built an industry. And we should be eternally grateful to them, rather than this nonsense of old Nollywood and new Nollywood and all that kind of nonsense. There is no need for that.
Okay, but speaking of the nonsense, we've now evolved. We're at a time where technology has incredibly democratized filmmaking and storytelling, and now you do have a huge crop of filmmakers, writers. Everybody. There's no barrier to entry. Essentially, it seems. But as there is no barrier to entry, there's also the glamorization of what it means to be a filmmaker. Yep. So in this digital age where instant fame is very seductive, and I know that you famously stated that there are no shortcuts to glory, how do you then convince a young talented writer, talented director, the next Spielberg, the other person with stars in their eyes, that it is worth sacrificing immediate gratification to build something that is durable and a high-value career?
If they don't hear it from people like me who may say that to them, they will hear it from the audience. They would hear it. Contrary to what a lot of my colleagues think, the Nigerian audience isn't stupid. Yeah. And they consume content for different reasons. Okay. You can have what you call a successful film just because it is the background to their daily lives. It's what they play when they are feeding their children, so they can have something to laugh at.
Okay.
It's what they play when they are washing clothes. The noise in the
background
works for them, right? So it is useful in its own way. I am a great fan of armchair critics.
Yeah.
I don't insist that a critic has to have had university education or whatever to be a critic. I say if you pay for the art, you qualify to critique it, right? So I don't have a problem with that. What I have a problem with is for those that are young storytellers, and then they insist, they insist that this is the way the industry needs to go because they have achieved one success with one film.
Yeah.
But it's a marathon. It's not a dash, right? Some of us have been, this is my 21st year in this business, right? And I have played my little part in the things I have done, right? And I'm grateful to the successes that I've had and my failures, right? But you are going to be here for as long as is possible if you just took a step back and said to yourself, okay, I have been successful with this one thing, but what's the pathway to 10 things over the next 10 years? What's the pathway?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And what exactly qualifies as success? A couple of awards?
Yeah.
Some money in the bank? Sure. I am a fan of some money in the bank. I think you should, it's a business. Never forget. And when people that have money tell you it should be art for art's sake, tell them to, am I allowed to swear? To F off, right? Yeah, because they would sip their cognac and talk to you about how you should dedicate your life to the art.
Yeah.
But you don't have money to buy Squadron or Pelebe. But they are sipping cognac. They love you to suffer.
Yeah.
To satisfy the idea of what art is. So when I look at those that say, oh, Nollywood has not won an Oscar, how can...
Relax, bro.
So when then? So if we win Oscar, what should happen? We should turn our boxers to bandana because we have won Oscar or what? What? So South Africa won Oscar with Tutsi. What has happened since then?
And then?
They still don't have the film industry we have. There is not one South African actor that can be recognized in an African airport better than Aki and Popo. So what do we do now?
That's perspective. That's interesting.
You have to choose. Mrs. Sigwe used to say to me, Igbo people say, you cannot be taller than me and be shorter than me at the same time. You have to choose one. So we are short. It's fine. Go and be tall. Leave us alone. It's not by force. Leave us. Let us be short. Let Nollywood be short.
Okay. Before I let you go, let me ask you this question. So, you've been a lecturer?
Yes.
A journalist? An editor?
Yes, a magazine editor. Yeah.
Yeah, a filmmaker.
Yes.
When you look at your own professional archive, so from true Nollywood stories to directing over 100 plus hours of TV drama, what is the one thing that you hope people remember the most about the value that Chris Ihidero has added to the Nigerian narrative?
I'm not so sure I care whether they...
That's the problem with people like Chris. You see, these filmmakers, they are stubborn. Don't stubborn, girl.
No, I'm not
Please
sure.
answer my question.
I'm not sure I care whether they remember my work.
Yes, just the value.
Let them decide whether it's valuable for them or not.
Okay.
However, I hope that those I have worked with would remember that I may have been firm, but that I was fair. That they would remember that I never stole their money. That they would remember that whoever gave me, I as you know, the project we just worked on, I raised the capital from MBO Capital, led the raise, and the chunk of the people that gave money for that are people I never met in my life. People gave me tens of thousands of dollars to go and make that film. Because someone said to them, if you are going to give anybody money in this industry and the person would spend it as it is promised and the person would fight to return your money and he will not buy a car or build a house or marry a new wife, it will be Chris. Do you know?
But people are marrying new wives outside Christ.
Do you know what value that is for me?
Yeah.
Do you understand?
It's
Like,
integrity.
I wanted to make this film for 8 years.
Yeah.
I have worked on it. I first wrote this story during the lockdown. I have a thread on Twitter where I was talking about the pages I was writing on a daily.
Yeah.
Right? I put everything behind it.
Yeah,
And people
you did.
said, you know what, Chris? Go and concentrate on making this film. Let us give you the money to go and make it.
Yeah.
Do you understand? I hope that the people I have given to, as I was given by the Amaka Igwes and Tunji Aziz, Rockboy, Wenla Jamana, Nicola Potonyaki, show all my egbons that invested their time and money in me. I hope that those I have done the same for will remember, not in a way to worship me, but will remember to also pay it forward the way I have. If I remember, if my child, if Izzy or Ozzy were to meet someone tomorrow, let's say they are stranded at some airport somewhere in the world, and say, oh, can I help you? What's your name? Oh, my name is Chris Ihidero. Wait, Chris Ihidero, do you know Chris Ihidero? Oh, that was my father. Maybe I'm long gone. Chris Ihidero was your father? Oh, come. I will sort you out because Chris did this. That would be more than enough for me. As per the work I have done, I leave it to Providence. And as at the work I will do going forward, I leave it to Providence. I won't be involved in my own no, not judgment. I will play no part in my own examination. I leave it to others.
All right. Thank you. Do you have any questions you want to ask me?
What was it like working with me?
Guys, let me tell you. Please use my last block. I've been waiting for. Excuse me. Focus. What you mean? Chris, please give me a second. You took my blood. I was outside. Feed me. No, it was cool. To be honest with you, like I said, like from the jump meeting, and I'm someone who I am convinced by reasoned thought. And I felt that you were so aware of what you wanted to accomplish. It was so clear. The vision was clear. You know, I think that was probably the most striking thing. And you were very earnest in how you wanted to achieve it and what you intended to do. And so from the jump, I was like, yeah, I'm in. It was the same, talking with you was the same feeling that I had talking with Yinka for Crime and Justice, where for me, I feel like I'm a team player, and I've always been a good team player. I enjoy playing in teams. I like to know, okay, but you need to know what the captain of the team wants to do. I'm like, tell me what your plan is. I'm like a hired gun, you know, because of the kind of skill set that I have, not just as an actor, I think just in general, the person that I am. So I'm always willing to execute on behalf of someone who has that vision. It's like, okay, this is where we want to go. And then when I read the script, I wanted to do it for a whole other reason. Because while on a personal level, I remember looking at the character, I was like, oh, she's so female. Oh my gosh. But it was also a challenge for me. I was like, okay, do you know what? I don't think I played this type of female before in this way. Like there's usually something else. I was like, okay, I like it. But I really liked the whole story. And I think I told you that. I think I was very clear about the whole story, the whole picture. Getting on set, for sure there were issues I had, and I also expressed myself. You people, I expressed myself, but overall I know that everybody put in the best that they could do where we're at. And so my job always is just like, all right, how do we execute it? How do we get from here to where it is we need to get to? And then, you know, it's like labor. Then you forget all the pain of what you went through, and you're just like, yo, let me see the film. I want to see what we did. Yeah. And I think we made something.
I think I told
really
you I
cool.
got the first cut like a month ago.
Yeah.
And I was so worried before it came because my editor, big shout out to Melanie Jenkins Golden. She's amazing.
Yeah.
And she had cut MTV Sugar, my last season of MTV Sugar. That's where I found her. And I was expecting a 3-hour cut because we had a 110 pager.
Whoa.
And then I received it, and it was 2 hours, 16 minutes. I was like, Mugbe, this woman has cut the life out of me. And so I played. So, you know, it's not graded, just scratch music and all of that. And I watched the first 16 minutes and I paused it. And I wish that I was a crying man because I needed to
cry.
I needed to cry because the relief that washed over me was that, okay, I dreamt of this and I have made this film. And this film is going to be amazing. I had just seen 16 minutes of it.
Yeah.
And we had done 12 scenes in 16 minutes.
Wow.
We had cut 12 scenes in 16 minutes.
Okay.
And I'm like, go Mel, because I know her. She will cut every fat out of it. Mel doesn't play. And I needed an editor that would push back.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't want to hold for the first cut.
Yeah.
That is the editor's cut. And I watched it when I finished. I remember sending it to Debola and my co-producer, and Debola kept saying, "This is it. This is it. God, this is it. This is it." And I was laughing at him.
Died by the end of the production.
He was in the hospital for 3 days after the production.
Because I messaged him, I said, "I hope you have rested." Debola said, "I'm in the hospital." I said, "You have to Debola."
You know, and I'm grateful to God for the opportunity. And it was amazing working with you. It was my first time of working with you, and it was amazing. And I see the cuts, and you look amazing, and I'm like, okay, you know, she cut each moment, each look, you know, the small things, the small things in a big picture.
Dope.
It's a big picture, and that's what I want, and I hope that by the time people say, they can say, okay, we have seen a film when someone actually went all the way and did the best. And whatever imperfections, which is what our job is, it's never there's never a film without fault.
Yeah.
But whatever they are, you can see an attempt to make a great film. However we measure the success. For that, I am eternally grateful to you and to everyone that came on board to do this with me.
Thank you, Chris. I'm grateful that you came to come chat with you. I grabbed Chris last minute too. He did do something else today. I just said, please come. I want to talk to you quickly. So, guys, that's it for this episode of the StormCast. If you haven't, do catch up on all the other episodes of the StormCast. And this episode today was shot at the CEP Entertainment Hub at CC Hub, and it was shot together with Rixel Studios. Thank you so much, because they're my co-production partner here. And shout out to Canon who also gave us cameras. But yeah, that's it for this episode. I'll see you next time. Bye.